Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we're looking at an absolutely astonishing and amazing Minotaur game. Now, I do have my Jack Dunkirk captain in here, so that means my captain's perks are Priority Target, Smokescreen Expert, Superintendent, Concealment Expert, and since he's only a 14-pointer, Manual Fire Control for AA Armament. For my modules, I'm running Main Armaments Mod 1, then AA Range Mod 2, then Reload for the main battery, then I believe Hydro, the special upgrade, and then finally Steering Gear and Concealment. So I get a nice stealthy concealment of 8.9 kilometers, which means with 10 kilometer torpedoes I am able to stealth tor. So I kind of spawn all by myself over at A. I decide I'm not going to go into A necessarily, but I'm actually going to just sit outside of it, and that is the reason why, because as soon as I get detected, look at that, 3 people already looking at me, and I'm sure that number will go up. Dump my torpedoes. I see some Amagi shells coming in. I'm hoping that he aimed a little bit farther, and I turn a little bit late, and he rails me for 26k. So that's a bit of an unfortunate start, and I'm already down to, well, I was at quarter of my HP, but now I am back up to about a little over half. So again, this was probably a very bad start for most Minotaur players, but I am not most Minotaur players. Besides the fact that I just got completely, almost bumfucked, I'm going to just kind of chill here and see what the enemy team is doing. Hopefully our Yugumo can start spotting people like this Benson. That would be much appreciated. But I do end up getting a torpedo hit, most likely on the Benson, because the cap did get reset, and since our Yugumo is now on that cap, we are no longer going up for the enemy team. Enemy Minotaur, or friendly Minotaur, gets spotted there, I believe, so he decides to smoke up and decides to start pelting them. My plan here was to originally go to the Minotaur smoke, but then I'm like, why am I being spotted here? And that's when I realized that the Benson was actually spotting me, and I started freaking out because an Amagi from 9 kilometers against a Minotaur, it's always going to be a bad day. See that I think the Friedrich Grossa already taking some pot shots at me, so I decided to bail. It's not worth me getting deleted so very early on. So what do? I adapt. Like any good player, especially in the Minotaur, you really have to be aware of your surroundings, especially with when you only have 15.8 kilometer range. You really have to be up close and personal, and be very aware of your positioning and the enemy's positioning. So since I see our Gearing and our Yugumo both heading towards A, I decide, well, our Yugumo's heading to the bottom of the ocean now, but our Gearing's on half health, and our Grozovoy is over at C, so I'm looking like I'm going to have to be the main cap contester when it comes to capping. So get some nice hits out on this Grozovoy, pop my Hydro, don't want any of those torpedoes coming in there. I believe they are only 8 kilometers, but I don't know if this Z-52 to my left, how close he got, and how close he was able to launch some torpedoes. End up getting a nice Citadel on the Fiji. Sometimes the Fiji is a little bit trolly when it comes to the Citadels. Like some of the lower tier British cruisers, they can be a little bit hard to hit the Citadel, because they do have somewhat of a sneaky Citadel. Spot this Benson, who is not being the smartest kid in the toolbox or playground, whatever you want to say, or whatever the saying is. I decide to shoot a shot at him, and I'm actually surprised I didn't get a hit on him. And I think my team is going to finish him off. Yep, they do. The Minotaur finishes him off. I was hoping I was going to get him with that first salvo, but I ended up not. Either way, the Benson ended up dying, so in the end, it doesn't even matter. So the nice thing about the... Oh, Grozovoy gets spotted. Let's see how much damage we can do to him. going to be accelerating 8 overpens for 7.5k damage, and that is the power of British cruisers on destroyers. I just chunked approximately a third of his health with one salvo. So these British cruisers with their shorter AP fuse times, or fuse times in general, because they only shoot AP minus British or the OP ship, the Belfast. There we go. Besides that one's the only one that has HE. But again, like I was saying, the nice thing about the Hydro upgrade is that it does last a little bit longer. So if I do pop my Hydro a little bit early, I can then deploy my smoke and be a-okay. The only downside to having the Hydro upgrade is now my smoke is up, but my Hydro is not even close to being up. So again, that is, I guess, one of the downsides to running that. Hoping the Hipper would die, but again, I ended up missing, or he ended up dodging my shells. Yamato shoots one salvo at him, and I keep getting bounces or non-penetration. I said that I got 2 penetrations, maybe that was on the Fiji. Get a Citadel there, hoping that, so it looks like the Yamato steals that kill. Could have gotten a double strike there, but that's okay. Both enemy ships were killed in the process, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. That New Orleans that shot at me earlier is then spotted going around on the minimap. He is currently in F7, so I'm going to angle my ship that way, just in case he does radar. That way he has no chance of citadeling me. And the only real danger, of course, is either from torpedoes from my left that were supposed to be for the Yamato, or getting citadeled from 20 to 25 kilometers by one of these Montanas or these Moggies, which, if you can get a citadel, even though it is a British cruiser, I commend you for that. And that's a lot of RNG as well. As soon as I start moving forward, New Orleans radars, at this range, I'm going to start pelting him and wrecking him, especially when he's showing broadside like he is right now. 5,600, 3,200, I get a double citadel there, and that's him dead. So, tooltip, or pro tip rather, if you are going up against a Minotaur, do not go broadside. You angle at him directly. That is the best way to mitigate nearly all of the damage the Minotaur gets on you. The only option is he's got the superstructure, but if you are a cruiser, typically you have generally you have a smaller superstructure, so it is a little bit hard to actually do damage there. But if you're angled, he can do pretty significant damage. I'm hoping that this Zhao is going to come around the corner, but it does not look like he is going to do that. Thankfully, though, I've got some pretty lobby shells, and I'm able to pen his superstructure like that for 5,500. That one wasn't as good. I'm knocking out his guns, oddly enough. At this range, though, again, he's not going to be able to do much, and I pretty much annihilate him. The other thing about the Minotaur is you can actually get the front 3 guns off at a pretty decent angle. It's not the best, but you can still do a lot of damage with your front 3 guns. And against enemy cruisers like that, it is actually quite difficult for them to get solid AP pens on you when you're angled at about 20 degrees. So, unless of course they're something like an American cruiser, which have slightly better penetrating angles. So we are capping Bravo. Our team is kind of lost. I don't know what our line is doing, except dying. Seems like every time I ask or say something about a destroyer or a ship in general, it seems to die. So start shooting at this Des Moines. Yamato, see? Every time I speak about a ship, it dies. In any case, I'm gonna kind of try and stay concealed here and just try and cap this. I'm actually, at this point, I remember thinking, like, I should probably go and the smoke screen for our Yamato, because it looks like, even though we do have one ship advantage, The enemy team has 3 battleships, and they can very easily burn him down. 3 battleships shooting HE at one battleship, that's never a good it's never a good thing. Magi shoots at me, I turn an angle, slow down, and he gets 10k. I was hoping that he didn't shoot, he shot too far forward and actually was not able to hit me, but I ended up hitting, I think that I ended up hitting the brakes a little bit too soon. Either way, I can heal that back up, which I do right then and there. Pop my hydro, don't know where the destroyer is. I know he's on somewhat low health, between me chunking him down a little bit earlier for about 8k. And again, I did try to smoke the amount of there. That is the nice thing about the 30% radius for the special perk that the Jack Dunkirk captain gets. So sometimes you can actually end up smoking your teammates, like I try to do there. Get a Confederate in the process. Again, I'm trying to aim for the superstructure, getting a lot of bounces, so that probably means I'm aiming a little bit too far in front, right on top of the guns. So I'm gonna aim a little bit higher, and hopefully get a little bit more plunging fire on the superstructure rather than on top of the guns. Because if I get spotted there very briefly, and unfortunately he's behind the island. Gonna keep shooting at the Friedrich. I could also try and get him down, because it looks like our Yamato's actually going to die, which again, as soon as I say something about Yamato or about a ship, it dies. So hopefully I don't say that about myself anytime soon. Mage showing broadside. I'm going to take that as a yes, please. I'm gonna start pelting him. Smoke's gonna be running out. I don't know if our New Orleans realizes it, but as soon as I saw those Amagi shells, I'm like, I'm out of here. And I dodge all those shells. They go harmlessly to the side. Friedrich gets spotted. I'm 393 health. He's definitely dead now. I don't mind shooting here. I could take one Citadel, and especially when New Orleans is kind of suiciding, kind of giving a little bit too much broadside, I'm sure the Montana's going to go for him rather than me. So I end up killing the Friedrich, and I chunked the Montana down a little bit, but not much. At this point, I'm going to say, okay, Minotaur, like, we are going to need to carry a little bit. Our Grozavoy isn't doing all that much. He's kind of on the side. He's been at sea, so he hasn't been as useful as he could have been, so to say. But I'm going to hope that my Minotaur buddy has some more smoke, or at the very least has concealment excerpt, so I can kind of use him to spot, and I can, since I do still have my smoke, I can kind of chunk these guys down as much as possible. So, since I do have amazing concealment, and I know the Montana was spotted there, I'm going to go around this corner pretty safely, launch one torpedo set and another. The Minotaur actually does the same onto this Montana. So, it wasn't a planned cross drop, but it's going to end up being a very nice cross drop any way you look at it. So hopefully one of us can land a torpedo hit or two. Gonna try and single fire some torpedoes, or not. I thought I was going to. There we go, that's what I'm going to do. The reason I sent those a little bit more in front is because since that Minotaur was the last thing holding him against, holding that Montana against the Bravo objective, I'm going to send those a little bit closer, because I know he's going to be heading that way to try and stall the cap. Get one torpedo hit, and I'm very lucky there to get a flooding. Hopefully another one of my torpedoes can hit, and he's gonna definitely repair that right away, as he does. So at this point, I'm not in the best position. Obviously, I'm going up against two battleships, one of them at nearly full health, the other one at, well, 15k. I do get another torpedo and flooding there, and that means that is a full flood. That is actually very, very crucial to my survival right now. Again, the reason I go with manual AA is because I just snipe that plane down very, very quickly, pop my hydro, hoping to get a spot on maybe this Montana, which I maybe spot there. Either that or the Grozavoy is spotting him. But again, another thing that is nice about Jack Dunkirk is that since he has a bigger smoke screen, I can actually smoke behind the corner and then move in front of the island, and I'm still within my smoke screen. Had I not had the captain, it might have been a little bit more difficult to pull this off. Get my croc in there. I am Magi, being a little bit dumb. Grozavoy is near because I know those torpedoes. My torpedoes are up, and I single fire them all. That's really the only thing I can do here. My hydro is spotting the Grozavoy. Montana shoots at me. No point. I'm behind the island. Torpedo hits the island as well. Look in here. Oh boy, this is going to be nasty. This guy's been flooding and hemorrhaging hit points nearly the whole game. And then I'm going to land. I would have landed all of my torpedoes there. I ended up getting Liquidator, and the Grozavoy dies right there to finish the game off. Alright guys, so looking at the post-battle results, like I said in the beginning, it was an outstanding game, and it was really, really close at the end, and some very nice single-fire torpedoes. You can see how powerful those can be, and how powerful they could be if they are implemented on the British destroyers when they do come out. But anyway, 1.1 million credits earned, 21k XP, 1,000 free XP. Ended up getting 10 achievements, quote unquote. Confederate Dreadnought, Kraken, Liquidator, which I haven't gotten in a while, and finally High Caliber, as well as some of those special achievements. Ended up with 266k, which is absolutely insane. This is, I believe, my highest Minotaur game yet. So, and again, I haven't played Minotaur all that much, but every time I play this ship, it's very, very exciting. And even though it's pretty much point and click, for the most part, it does lend to some pretty amazing games like this one. 484 shell hits, 6 torpedo hits, so very good use of the torpedoes. Would have landed more had the Montana not taken so much flooding damage. 2 planes shot down, not a carry in the game, but you saw how fast those planes got shot down. Like those spotter planes, they got shut down extremely quickly. 6 enemy ships killed, almost a double Kraken. Had 4 of my kills stolen, which was a bit unfortunate. 4 citadels on some cruisers, and unassisted base capture helped with that XP gain. Team score wise, 3,226 XP, doubling the closest player on my team, the Yamato, who did play pretty well as the friendly Minotaur. The enemy team didn't fare too well. They did play pretty well, though. At least the Yamagi and Montana did. I actually looked up the Montana stats, and he was actually a very, very good player. I think he was Unicum or Super Unicum, at least in the Montana. So it's not like he was a bad player. It's just the single torpedoes are very, very deadly. And again, a bit of a unlucky situation for him flooding out all that way. Although I think that the amount of torpedoes that were going his way, I would have definitely landed a lot of damage on him regardless. Detailed report though. Again, 266k, 54k in torpedoes with only 6 hits, so about 9k average, not too bad. And then I almost got a Witherer. That would have been funny in a Minotaur, wouldn't it? I was about 15k off of that. Potential damage fired my way, 1.6 million. Again, not too bad, especially for a Minotaur. A lot of that tends to come from you getting spotted in smoke, or you get shot at, and then you pop your smoke, and then you use your maneuverability or what have you to kind of dodge that. So not too bad there. 52k damage received. I know a lot of that damage that I actually took was in the beginning, the first minute of the game. So it kind of just goes to show that even though I did get chunked down to a good amount of my HP, I was still able to recover and have this amazing game and carry my team to victory. Credits and XP, 900 grand, no big deal. It's not like I need credits. Well, I actually do, but anyway, some nice XP, especially for my commander, which was very nice. I love elite commander XP. So, well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike and leave a comment telling us why. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.